So the first thing we are going to work on is this flap area right here. So it opens. So it's much the same as what we just finished doing, just with different measurements. So we will need one piece of cardstock at 11 by 8. Okay, 11 by 8, and then we are going to score it. I'm going to put it on the scoreboard at the 11-inch side. We're going to score it at half and 3/4. Half and 3/4, so we get a gusset again, and then we're going to flip it over and score it at 6. Okay, so we've done half and 3/4 here. So half and 3/4, and then we flip the paper over and score it at 6. The reason we do that is because these folds are going in different directions. So this is where the whole mountain and valley thing come into play. So these ones fold back. Okay. And then we are also going to need a piece of cardstock at 8 inches by 4.5 inches, and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch down along. So you'll put it into your scoreboard on the 4.5 inch side, score it at 1/2 inch, and then we'll fold that score line. So we'll burnish our score lines here. Okay, so now we are needing to attach this to our piece here. So this here is going to attach to the actual cover, and so this piece here is going to attach onto here. Okay, so you've got this part is folded behind. Now we're going to put score tape on the 1/2 inch here. Miter your corners. Sorry, I keep going out of frame. My camera that has the flip screen so I can see what I'm doing went kaput on me, so I'm using my really old camera, and it's hard to tell what the heck I'm filming. Okay, so we are attaching, so we've got the score tape right here, and we are attaching it right here. So we've got this part, your 1/2 inch plus your gusset is flipped under, and we're attaching this as straight as you can get it. Okay, and now we're going to attach this whole piece to your book. Okay, so put some score tape on this 1/2 inch, ensuring you're not putting it over into your gusset. Give that a little burnish. Miter the corners. And take off your score tape. Okay, so now we are lining that up with the edge of our book. Next, we need to put a magnet. Let's see, where's the magnets? The magnet's there. Okay, so just the one magnet. So a magnet is going right here. Okay. So somewhere in the center. Let the other one attach to it. And I'm really having trouble with my score tape today. There we go. Okay, and close that up. And then on this side it will have the swing tabs, so it'll keep closed that way. Okay, so the next part that we are going to work on, so we've done this part now. So now we are going to work on this whole flap. Move this out of the way for now. Okay, so we begin with a piece that is 9.5 inches by 8 inches, and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. So you'll put it, I've already scored mine, but I'll just show you. So put it at the 9.5 inches along here. So 9.5 inches here. We're going to score it at 1/2, and then we are going to flip it over, and we're going to score it at 6.5. Okay, so then we will fold on our score lines, making sure that you turn your valleys into mountains. And then next you will need a piece that measures 8 by 6, and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch on the shorter side. So on the 6-inch side you're going to score it on 1/2 inch. Fold that score line. Okay, and then we are going to kind of do the same thing that we did before and attach this to this. Okay, making sure I'm doing it right. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we'll put some score tape on the 8 by 6 piece. And miter the corners. Take off the score tape. And so you've got your 1/2 inch flap is over here, and it's folded under, and you're just going to attach this right to the edge. Okay, and then that small part flips over that. And now in this book, so this is what we're doing. This is the part we're doing right here. Now in this one I did a piece that was like quite long and narrow, but I decided to change it up in this one, and I'm just doing a piece that is a little bit wider and shorter. I just felt like it. So you can do a long skinny piece, you can kind of do whatever you like, but I decided that I wanted a one like that. So what have we got here? So I have written down 5 by 5 3/4, but it seems like it's just a tad long. So it's 5.5, not 5 3/4. So let's just be sure. Yeah, so let's go 5.5. I'm just going to trim this down to 5.5. Okay, so you've got a piece that is 5.5 by 5 3/4. Okay, and then on the 5-inch side, so this is the 5-inch side right here, and you're going to put in your scoreboard and then score at 1/2. Okay, so the 1/2 is going down like that. Fold over your score line. Put some score tape on it. Burnish. Miter. And stick. Alright, so score tape is off, the backing is off, and now we are just going to, so the score tape's at the top, 1/2 inch thing is at the top, you're just going to line it up with the top here. Alright, fabulous. So you've got the little flap, that goes up, and that goes over. I know why it was 5 3/4, because I had originally put it on the inside, not on this part. So you can keep it at 5 3/4 and put it on the inside, or you can trim it a bit and put it on the outside. My bad. Do it either way you like. Jeepers. Okay, well, that's done, and that still works, so let's do that. And now we need a magnet. Where are the magnets? The magnets are on this flap here. So let's put a couple magnets on here then. No crafter is perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. Some of my coolest designs have kind of come out of mistakes, because I'll make a mistake and you don't want to tear the whole thing apart again, so you're like, well, how can I make it better? And be amazed at some of the things that you come up with when you have to jimmy rig something into working. So it's not always a bad thing to make a mistake. Sometimes it can turn into something good. Alright, so I've already got the second magnet on there. Put some score tape over top. And there we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we can adhere this to our cover. Alright, so score tape on the back of your 1/2 inch. And burnish and miter. And remove your score tape. And so the score tape is on your left, and you're going to line it up with the edge here. And you also want to line it up with the this other piece that you've already, this other flap that you've already put down. And unfortunately, since I'm a little bit closer to the top, I'm going to have to put this closer to the top as well to kind of line them up together. Alright, so there is that part, and now, so we've done this flap here, we've done this flap here, so now we are going to work on this flap here, which is quite a simple one, so we'll work on that now. Okay, so got one piece measuring 9 1/4 by 6 1/4. Okay, 9 1/4 by 6 1/4. Put it into your scoreboard on the 6 1/4 side and score at 1/2 inch. Mine's already scored, so we'll fold on the score line. Add some score tape. And that's all there is to it, to that one. That one can be added onto your... So lift that out of the way, lift these both out of the way, and this is just going to adhere directly down onto your cover. So get the score tape off and line it up with the other two pieces you already have down. Sorry, my head's gonna get in the way just for a moment. Okay. So that is that. And then your other piece you will need is 8 1/2 by 5 3/4. So 8 1/2 by 5 3/4. And you're going to line it up with the, put it on the shorter side, the 5 3/4 side, and again score at 1/2. And then fold, score tape, burnish, miter, and this is going to go right here. Now alternatively, I wanted to make it a little bit smaller just because I wanted a border around the whole thing. Alternatively, you could make it the same size as the bottom one if you'd prefer, and have it the same size. So totally up to you. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. You don't have to follow exactly what I'm doing. You could make it your own in so many ways. Alright, so we're going to line that up as evenly as possible. Alright, and there we go. Oh, and we have the proper camera configuration. Yay! We're back on track. Alright, so I just wanted to show you that in my album, when you open this flap, I have these clear pockets for photos. I got these from a company called Close to My Heart, and they're called Memory Protector Flip Flaps. Now, these are completely optional. You don't have to have these in here. You can do whatever you like with that. If you do have them, great. If not, you could just create your own little waterfall or just leave that blank. So the last thing we have to do is put a couple magnets on these two flaps, and then we'll continue on. Alright, so let's just get a magnet happening on here. Okay, so we'll just put a magnet somewhere right around there-ish. And the other one on top. Okay, magnet there, and now we'll put one magnet on, no, I don't have a magnet up there. Okay, so on to the next part. Now we are doing this pocket. Okay. So we will need for the pocket, we need a piece of cardstock that is 10 1/4 by 4 1/2. And then we're going to score it. So along the 10 1/4 inch side, we're going to score it at 1/2 inch and at 9 3/4 inch. And then we're going to turn it on its side and score it at 4. Or alternatively, if you have it this way, you can score it at 1/2. So just make sure there's a 1/2 inch on the bottom and a 1/2 inch on each side. Okay, and then we're going to put score tape on that. So remember not to go over your score lines, just up to them. Okay, now we've got the score tape on. Just going to miter the corners. Okay, get those out of the way and fold on your score lines. And burnish those down. Okay, so now we're going to create the 2 flaps that go on this pocket. So you'll need 2 pieces of cardstock measuring 6 3/4 by 4, and each of those you're going to score at a 1/2 inch on the 6 3/4 side. So along the side here, and again we're going to put score tape on each of those. Oops, each of those 1/2 inch. And then we're going to miter the corners. Fold on the score lines. Burnish. And add them to your pocket. So they just go one on either side, as evenly as you can. Okay, so now you've got the 2 little flaps. Now we are not going to put this on the page until we've got the pattern paper down here. I mean, you can put it down and then kind of try and tuck the pattern paper in. That is possible. I find that it can be a little bit difficult, you know, because it can stick. So I prefer to have the pattern paper down first and then put this on. So if anyone looks into the pocket, they'll see the pattern paper all the way down. So for now, we're just going to put a magnet on here, and then we're done with that part. So get some score tape on your magnet. And slap her on there. Some more score tape on the top. And I mean, this is a place, oops, this is a place that if you prefer, you could have a swing tab here. That would work as well. All right, so that's that. So now we are going to create these two inserts that are in the pocket. Just simple inserts. Just opens up like that with a magnet right there. And then this one is just a simple 3-page. Okay, so we're going to create those. So first you will need a piece of cardstock that is 9 inches by 4 3/4, and along the 9-inch side you're going to score it in half at 4.5. You will also need a piece that is 5 by 4 3/4, and you're going to score that at a half an inch along the 5-inch side. Then, as always, we'll put some score tape on that half. And as usual, we're going to burnish, fold, burnish, miter, and we're going to attach it inside. It's that simple. So just open up the piece that you just cut, and we're just going to put this right at the center mark, making sure not to go over this the score line. Just right up next to it. Okay, and that's all there is to it. You've got your little booklet there, and then next we are going to do that other little flap. So it's just one sheet of paper, 11 by 7.5. You're going to score at 5, and you're going to score at 10 inches. Okay, and then we're going to fold those score lines. And I'm just a smidge tight. Doesn't want to close very well, so I'll just kind of reinforce that score line where it should be. Okay, perfect. So now we just want to put, we'll burnish these first. Okay, and now all we need to do is put a magnet in the center. So a magnet just on the flap here. You could put one on either end if you like, but I don't really feel it's necessary. I'm just putting one kind of in the center. It's a little bit off center. Maybe I should move it to perfect center actually. That looks a little better. Okay, score tape off. And fold her over. Alright, we are done with all of the cardstock assembly of everything.